through this baby. I want to get to Trader Joe's before 9.
All right. That's the goal. And before 9. All right, we have a quorum, right? All right, I'm going to read my blurby. All right. It is January 28th at 7:30 p.m. 2021, and this is the Needham Conservation Commission public hearing. As a preliminary matter, my name is Janet Carter-Bernardo, Conservation Chair. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Stephen.
Aye.
Sue.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
Artie.
Aye.
Allison.
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Clay.
Here.
Debbie. Can't hear you.
Sorry, here.
Anticipated speakers on the agenda responding in the affirmative. We only have a few. So we have Alan Rubin.
Hello. Aye.
Good, you can hear us. Mike Catalano.
Here.
Hello.
Catalano here.
Jess Delaney.
Here.
Michael Haynes.
Yeah, here.
Great, so everybody can hear us. Everybody's here. Great. Okay, good evening. This open meeting of the Town of Needham Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with the Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's orders suspend the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, the Needham Conservation Commission is convening by Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. The general public is allowed and encouraged to ask questions during the meeting when directed by the commission chair and through the use of the raise hand feature associated with the Zoom meeting app. Those that have questions or comments regarding a particular hearing will be called upon in the order they raise their hand, so please be patient. Granted, we're a small group, so we just all kind of yell out. No worries. All right. Meeting materials. All support materials have been provided to members of this body and are available on the Conservation Commission website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. The chair will introduce each hearing on the agenda. I will introduce the applicant and or their consultant to begin their project presentation. After they conclude their presentation, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment or questions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and please state your name before speaking. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. All righty. So first on the agenda, we do not have to go in any order, correct? All right. So we have 27 Cynthia Road because we have Alan Rubin and Mike Catalino here.
Oh, no.
27 Cynthia Road is a request for determination of applicability. Who would like to do a presentation?
Mike, you want to take a shot at it?
I'd like to say as little as possible. Repeat the question, please?
Just what do you want to tell us about the project? Does anybody have anything to show us?
It's a low impact, regulated, industry standard, all permeable material project.
Hold on. Would you like Clay to pull up your plan for us to look at and you can talk to the plan?
Sure, if that helps everybody.
Yeah, Mike, this may be your first time here. Yes, it helps everybody.
Okay, what are we looking at?
We are looking at the outline of a projected plan that we are looking to get accepted.
It's a backyard patio.
Okay.
We have a screened porch that's on the smaller side. We really came up with this idea for social distancing and continued use of our backyard. There's a bit of a slope in the back, which is why, we're bringing Mike in for this. And it's about 25 by 19 for the patio space. And as you can see in the design here, it's going to have a sitting wall going around a portion of the perimeter. And there's going to be, if you can see it in the lower left corner, there's that garden bed, which will have a second tier wall to break the grade there. The whole structure is going to be approximately 28 by 29 feet. It's going to be situated lining up with the right side of the stairs coming down from the porch, and it'll go to the side of the foundation on the left side.
So originally this project came before us. We were considering it for an administrative approval. In this case, the property is located on an extensive wetland, kind of back where Rosemary Brook outlets beyond West Street. And they're approximately 75 feet from the edge of the wetland. And so we were considering an administrative approval as a minor activity. Under the bylaw, it's 75 feet is kind of that extent conversion of lawn to patio. However, in this case, as I can pull up in this photo here, there's a bit of a slope in the backyard. And so in this case, in order to build the patio, to convert the lawn to the patio, they're going to have to bring in some fill and set up a small series of retaining walls. So in this case, there's ground disturbance. So we had to file the RDA to determine if this was considered a minor activity or if there was greater need for permitting, essentially.
So what kind of permeable pavers are you going to use? Have you thought about that? What they're going to look like?
Well, yeah, we have a paver in mind. They're 260 smooth made by Teco Block.
Deco block? And what's underneath them?
Processed gravel.
Oh, wait, slow down with the detail. So bottom wall, below grade.
Clay, Exhibit B, I think, spells that out.
B. Oh, yeah, okay. So to that 3/4 inch permeable processed gravel, how thick is that?
It's normally about a foot, maybe 10 inches to a foot. Usually we'll dig enough to remove the organic matter. And as soon as we find buildable material, we can stop. So my goal is to actually disturb the ground as little as possible, keeping the structural integrity intact. I don't want to dig too much and bring in more than I have to when I know that the ground itself is strong enough, in other words.
And what happens to the topsoil that you're taking away?
The topsoil, all the organic matter will be stripped and removed. So it'll be removed as soon as I disturb the ground. So like I won't be stockpiling any material. In some instances, we recycle it, but I feel like in this case, we want to actually get rid of it just to avoid any more erosion than necessary.
Okay. Clay, can you just pan through these exhibits slowly? Okay, this is the property. And the wetlands is in the way back there. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, we have some GIS pictures that will show up as we go through these.
Yeah, I remember looking at, that's why I kind of kept expecting to see it. I'm like, wait, where's that picture that showed the wetlands?
If I jump towards the later exhibits, there's actually the aerials in here.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. This is the one. These are, I was looking at these. Is it a tennis court your neighbor has?
Yes,
A sport court.
sport court. This system is wonderful. The town engineer was very helpful in explaining how to utilize it.
How to use, oh, yeah? How to utilize the permeable pavement?
Oh,
No, the
gee,
GIS system.
yeah.
for
Oh, the
aerial.
GIS system. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is pretty good. That's good. All right. So you guys are done with your presentation? Anything else to add?
Unless you have any questions.
Well, maybe the board does, so we'll see. If you want to let the take that, yeah, thanks. Stephen, do you have any questions or comments?
No questions.
Sue, do you have any questions or comments?
I don't.
Allison?
The only comment I'll make is that the base is not classically permeable stone. 3/4 inch gravel and stone dust is not, and polymeric sand for joints is not considered.
Oh, he was showing sand for the joints? I
It's
missed that.
not, it's polymeric, well, it's got, you know, some plastic stuff in it, but I mean, typically it's, you know, a true permeable paving system has
Has like the rice.
like little rice and it sits on, you know, a number 659 stone and then, you know, and then another 12 inches of a bigger, it's not 3/4 inch gravel. I mean, I just wanted to put that
Right.
out there. I'm not
Right.
saying anything else yet.
Yeah, yeah, I think it will function. It's not your standard permeable if
No.
they were trying to,
It
but
could be
it will
nice.
function.
Might I add, behind the walls, the backfill will all be 3/4 inch stone.
Yeah,
So everything's pitched a certain way and it will drain properly into something more permeable than the 3/4 inch process. So sort of as a second line of defense, that's there.
didn't they market it as permeable?
Anything else, Allison? Are you done? Artie, you have anything?
I just wanted to verify distance from the wetland because I didn't remember a drawing showing the distances.
I thought it was,
And
how
I-
far from the wetland? It's like 75 feet?
Clay, can you speak to that?
So in their materials that they provided, there was a drawing that was done up by hand from a 2013 filing. It was a joint RDA filed by the current applicants and DPW when they were hooking the property up to the sewer system, which I guess was overdue at the time. At that time, because it was a joint in part town project, conservation staff 2013 went out and did kind of a informal flagging and measured off. I can pull up that plan that they provided, but what they found was that the septic system was about 60 feet out from where they flagged it. Now, it's also important to note that these layers were also from 2013, and the updated DEP layers, I believe, brings it out a little bit closer to this true measurement.
Okay.
So if you measure out using the same scale, 75 feet is about here, which is where they're doing the work. The site is also pretty well sloped, so I think that when you follow the contours on the GIS system, it's pretty accurate as to where the wetland boundary is, just because it's not real shallow leading up to the edge of the wetland.
So essentially, there wasn't a formal delineation done for this project.
Yeah, but it's a good 75 feet away.
75 feet, it's on grass. I mean, though it sounds like the permeability of the patio itself is maybe a tad questionable, but it is on grass.
Bill, do you have anything to add?
I'm just curious, are you going to use small excavator or small machinery? It's going to be done by hand or?
Like, do that.
Yeah, we're gonna have some equipment there. for sure.
Exhibit D, Clay, if you can go to Exhibit D as in David, I think that lists it out.
The only other thing was, you said that there was a sewer, did they connect to sewer? Or is there still a septic back there?
No, it's the septic was abandoned.
And do you know if they filled it in or collapsed it or anything?
They filled it with sand.
They crushed it and filled it under the guidance of the health department, and the Conservation Commission was also involved with that and signed off on it.
Okay, that's all I have. Thanks.
Sure.
So the mini excavator, a skid steer, and two dump truck.
Yeah. Thanks.
Peter,
No questions.
everybody? Anybody in the audience have anything to ask, or is there anybody out there that wants to raise their hand, Clay?
There is nobody raising their hand.
Do we need any more additional information? This is an RDA, so either we issue a negative request for determination so that they can move forward with their project, or we issue a positive and suggest that they come back with a notice of intent. Does anybody want to make a motion or say that we need more information? Anybody, do we want to issue a negative?
Sure.
I'll make a motion that we issue a negative determination for, is it 27
27 Cynthia
Cynthia
Road.
Road?
I'll second it.
No, you have to close first.
Oh, first we have to close, so can
I
we
make a motion that we close the hearing for 27 Cynthia Road.
Second.
You, all in favor, one by one. Sue,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Artie,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
and I. Okay, so now you can make your next motion.
I move that we issue a negative determination for 27 Cynthia Road.
Second.
Artie, second. All in favor. Sue,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Artie,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Janet, aye. All right, thank you very much. Enjoy your patio. I have a permeable patio and I absolutely love it. It's been made a great area for my socially distancing fire pit and heaters, and enjoy.
I'm sure Mike's going to do a great job for us. We're just trying to figure out what we're doing for a fire pit.
Well, now I have to. I got quite the audience, so
Yeah, we're all gonna come out and enjoy it.
you all know where it's gonna be
we're-
now. So great.
We're gonna come check out your fire pit first.
Yeah, we're gonna need pictures, Mike, on the record, so keep that in mind.
You got my
Thank
number,
you.
Artie.
So you might want to look at, Mike, putting in like the number 9 rice stone in between the cracks, because it lets the water drain in better than sand. Sand can have an issue with ants.
So they actually make two kinds of polymeric sand. One you can actually bed in 3/8 trap stone, and it allows 100% of the water to bleed through the paper. I've designed this patio to have scuppers so that whatever's pitched through will fall on the retaining wall below into a garden bed. That below is loam, filter fabric, drainage stone. So, I mean, I'll do whatever you guys want me to do, but the way I have it designed, yes, go ahead.
You're all set to do it as you know,
Uh,
we're saying basically that it's out, we're not concerned that it's going to impact our wetlands, whatever you do. So you're good to
Great.
go.
Fabulous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Hey,
all.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, Mike, just for future things, what you were just saying there, as far as, coming before us with any future projects, that type of thing, just telling us, that's part of, let's say, part of the presentation, telling us what you're doing, because clearly you know what you're doing. Clearly you're doing something which is a benefit, and it's good to verbalize it during the presentation. For
Yeah,
example.
that sounded great.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys,
So keep
Should
that-
have said it 5 minutes ago, but that's
We got a first timer over here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You'll get better. I'll
Thank-
have you back.
Thank you for the input, really, honestly. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Okay, now we have Jess Delaney. So 24 Lake Drive, a request for certificate of compliance. This is DP file number 234842. Jess, you have anything to say?
Not a lot. I've been in touch with Clay. He's come out and seen the site. We are in compliance now, obviously with the exception of an established lawn due to the lovely weather at the moment. But all else is good to go. We've actually added an extra filter sock. Clay has suggested bolstering up the the erosion control for potential snow melt and water runoff, which we actually did beyond asking. We actually added another filter sock too. I live on the street. I live across the street from the project. I've been here for 20 years. I'm quite familiar with the soil, and it drains quite well. So I think, short of growing grass, I think we're in good shape.
Clay, you have anything to add?
I did conduct the site visit. It was almost prepared for last meeting, but we were just waiting on a full-size plan, which was provided. We did receive the engineer's narrative stating that everything was done in substantial compliance. The bulk of the work for this property, the actual house structure, was only just barely within the 100-foot buffer zone. It's primarily the work in the yard. So they did install the subsurface stormwater unit. The engineer did sign off on that and shown on the as-built plan. And the roof leaders go down into that. The inspection port was out there as well. The tree that there was concern about impacting looks to be still healthy. It looks like they did not, go into the trench into the root system there. As just mentioned, the only outstanding thing is that the site currently does not have an established lawn just because of the end of the season, end of the growing season. We did have them provide additional erosion controls just because we're into winter now. Having the extra layer, I think, is beneficial. But otherwise, the work has been completed to the requirements of the order.
And does this get a full certificate of compliance? Are there any plants or anything that we need to wait for?
There was no disturbance or cutting of native vegetation. It was all previously lawn, previously footprint of the house, so there was no mitigation plantings, no monitoring period.
Is it the house that had a fire or something, and then there was a big tree behind it that Artie was worried about? Is this true?
No fire. There was a tree that was removed by the.
Oh, the tree fell on the
It fell
house? There
on,
had been a tree
no
that
fire.
fell on the
Yeah, a
house?
tree fell on the previous house, yeah.
I know there was something about the previous house that was kind of destroyed or something.
Yep.
Does anybody have any questions or concerns about this project? I'm just gonna go one by one. Stephen?
Tonight, the
Nope.
party of QAnon.
Sue?
No.
Peter?
No.
Artie?
No,
Allison? Bill?
No.
Okay, so are we ready to
I have
issue-
one thing. Since it's not stable, I would like to have them call us for an inspection before they remove the erosion controls.
Yeah.
In the spring, we want to make sure that the grass sprouts and that, before we,
Can we still issue and have them do that? Or can you, maybe you can put in your calendar to go and do an inspection?
well, we
Right.
want to, so they have to leave the erosion controls there until we do an inspection.
Right.
Correct. I think that was actually part of the original plan.
Okay,
Yep.
So we can still issue the order, the certificate of compliance, even though that's gonna happen.
yeah, that's up to you.
I remember this is pretty far from the wetlands, so
Yeah, we're barely into it.
they have more erosion controls there. And I can't imagine somebody's gonna wanna stay long without their lawn growing, so.
Yeah.
In a brand new house.
Yeah, no, and actually the people occupying the house are actually the parents of my neighbor, and they want to be across the street from their grandchildren. So they're they're wonderful people, and it's not a spec house or a for sale thing. I'm very happy to welcome them to the neighborhood, and they're going to do everything they're supposed to do and then some. So and I can pretty much guarantee you they'd like a lawn as well. So
And we do have one raised hand in the audience as well for this.
Oh, all right. So who in the audience would like to speak?
This is Catherine Nickerson. I believe it's the original applicant as well. And
Yes, the owner,
I'll
yeah.
allow you to talk. You'll have to unmute yourself once you become a panelist.
I just wanted to
Rob.
say that, yes, we will absolutely plant the lawn. We absolutely want things stabilized, want to protect the wetlands as well. And thank you for all the guidance that the commission has provided.
Welcome. Good luck. You're all set? Anything else? Okay, so can we have a
I have a
motion to
motion
issue?
that we issue the certificate of compliance for 24 Lake Drive, DP file number 234842.
I second.
All in favor, Stephen,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Artie,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
yeah, aye. Great, thank you very much. Deb and Clay will let you know when that's all been signed and whatever they do.
Yeah, no, thank you for your time and your help and guidance as well. We appreciate it.
All right, great, good luck. Thank you. Okay, we have 456 Chestnut Street, Michael Haynes. This is DP file number 234792, a request for a certificate of compliance. You want to tell us where you're at?
Sure. Just for background, we bought the property in 2019 in April, May timeframe. And we learned on a title search that there was an order of condition in place. And before we actually took possession of the property, the plantings were made, and the work was done to eventually apply for a request for a certificate of compliance. So I think we met the conditions, and we're hoping that we can get approval today.
Deb or Clay, you have anything to add?
I was working with them to determine the status. There was a partial certificate of compliance that was done for all of the work except the mitigation plantings in 2019. Under the original order and the original work, I believe that this property changed hands or changed builders halfway through, which created some confusion back in 2019. At that time, we did issue a partial certificate of compliance. And as they stated when they came in, the plantings were newly done. They do have the required fence and emblems around the no disturb area. And they did have their arborist go out and their surveyor marked where the plantings went in, which was in compliance with the original order. Additionally, last year they had a tree that was in declined health. And so we had the arborist come to one of our meetings, probably about this time of last fall, maybe it was spring, but we issued the administrative approval, and they did do the restoration plantings for that as well. So in checking all of them, the plants looked good. The restoration area was definitely not mowed. I pushed aside the snow today just to confirm, and it was very robust grasses where that was, and then the plantings themselves all were looking really good, especially for this time of year.
Said you have some photos?
I do. I can pull those up.
I actually have walked by this house recently, before it snowed, and noticed that this was very well vegetated.
So there was the series of plantings. You can see the stream that kind of comes along the side of the house here. The additional trees that were planted for the hazard tree are in the back here, as well as the plantings kind of extend further back. As noted, the area does have pretty robust lawn. It's not been mowed. Even under the snow, it's pretty apparent. You can see the strands sticking up, which aren't present in the rest of the lawn. And they also had the series of boulders in addition to the fenced area to mark that the 25-foot no touch. One of the concessions that was made, or I guess discussed back when the partial was getting issued, was that The fence itself had a little bit of an issue with maintaining their HVAC systems, which are already installed. And so they did have these, but the emblems continue on the other side as well. So there's still a series of markers suggesting this is a no mow area.
Great. So we're in good shape with this. And anybody have any questions? I'm not seeing anybody raise their hand, so I'm not going to go one by one. Is there anybody in the audience that has any questions?
There is nobody left in the audience tonight.
Okay. So if we don't need anything else and nobody's waving their hands is needing anything, so can I have a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for 456 Chestnut Street? Anybody?
I move that we issue the compliance certificate of compliance for 456 Chestnut Street.
Have a second?
I second.
Two. Okay, all in favor. Bill,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Artie,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
and I. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And thanks to Clay for
So-
your,
Thank you.
Yeah, we have to figure out how to get things signed and then Bill, Deb and Clay will take care of getting you the certificate. It
Thank
needs
you.
to be
Thank you.
recorded and stuff, doesn't it? Yeah. And they'll tell you what to do with it. And they'll tell you how to process it.
okay, thank you.
Thanks. Okay, further on our agenda. We did 27, we did 24 Lake, and we did 456. 25 Mar, do we have to open or do anything with?
No, I just wanted to, so 25 Mar has a conservation restriction part to it. So I sent their draft conservation restriction that Wes Worth had drafted back at the beginning of COVID. This first came before us over to town council to review. And as part of the review for that Heather Lane Road conservation restriction, that had gone before town council as well. And so his suggestion is that we have applicants use the state model of the conservation restriction, because the closer you are to that, the higher the approval by the state. So he said, you know, there's two ways that we can go. We can either require them to use the state model, which he sent me a link to, which we could forward to applicants when they're doing conservation restrictions. He said what Wes had given us wasn't a real conservation restriction. It doesn't adhere close enough to the state form, which is necessary to get state approval. He said if the commission wanted to do something less than a true conservation restriction, that he could draft a document to use it, call it like a restrictive covenant. And it would be quicker and easier than pursuing the state approval of the CR, and may suffice as far as no additional work being performed without a new order. But that probably wouldn't make it up to the state level for approval. That would just stay within the town. So anyways, I told Wes Worth we'd hold off on 25 Mar until I talked to you guys, and then I could let him know what we're expecting.
Okay, who has an opinion? Allison?
I think, I'm not a lawyer, but isn't a covenant, doesn't it have like 20 years or 30-year lifespan? It goes away after a while. Whereas the conservation isn't that in perpetuity? I mean, I don't know. That's what I understand about covenants, that they have a time frame. And that might, what's the downside, in other words, if not?
Right.
Yeah. I think that might be true, but I don't know. And there's no.
I
lawyer.
think so as well. And I know they went with the more stringent state form with the Heather Lane roadway. But we kind of want to decide one way or the other so that we can direct people to the proper format that we want. We don't do them all that often, and every time they've been done, they have been different from each other. Usually lawyers do it, but this time Wes Worth took a shot on his own to do it. So it would be good to just say, this is the format we're looking for.
I think it makes sense to do the state format, especially if that's what town council is recommending.
Right.
Who is our town council now?
Chris
Chris, what?
Heap.
Heap.
Yep.
He new to the town, like, or is he?
I believe so. Yeah. I only first heard of him after Dave Tobin, but he might have done stuff with the planning department before then, but I haven't run into him before.
What do people think? Anybody feel strongly one way or the other? Artie, any opinion about this? Does it make sense to have people use the state form?
I think so.
I mean, I think he said it was enforceable, you know, whereas our town limited one isn't as enforceable in court or something like that.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
let's just start telling people to use the state form. That seems to make as much sense as anything.
Doesn't seem like there's any negative to doing that.
Yeah, I agree. There's no negative to that, except it takes a little longer, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So I'll coordinate between Westworth and town council, and then when town council is happy with it, then I'll have them come back.
Okay, people want meeting minutes or orders of conditions? Meeting minutes, order of conditions. What do we think? Somebody say something.
The meeting, wonderful.
Meeting minutes, okay.
They were wonderful. I couldn't find anything wrong, Clay.
Well, that's good.
Oh, that's impressive.
So let's take up the meeting minutes for July 23rd, 2020. And if whoever read them can make a motion to approve the meeting minutes. Sue has read them and found no edits. So that we can accept them as written.
Okay.
July 23rd, 2020.
I moved that the minutes, it was July 23rd, 8/13 and 8/27. Be approved.
All right, all in one swoop. All in
Okay.
favor, we have Artie,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Janet, aye. Okay, all three approved in one swoop.
I just realized that we look like the Brady Bunch on
I
my
know.
computer. I'm looking, I'm like, oh my God.
There's a story.
Marsha.
Okay, now we're up to 54 Pheasant Landing Road, DP file number 2348856. We approved the order of conditions. This is we're doing the order of the Clay sent us the exhibits. We discussed it at the last hearing. Some special conditions that are highlighted on our draft form. And I think this is the one that I actually found a typo in. I was pretty darn proud that I found.
Wow, that's impressive.
You guys, I always feel like when I put you to the side that like you all like are now looking at the inside of my computer and not the inside of my house. 54. Oh, did you just pull it up? I was just pulling it up on my. So I think I don't see anything highlighted. Oh, I'm looking at meeting minutes. Oops. Did you pull that up? Oh, I pulled. Okay, I covered you all up with my. Sorry. There's things highlighted, and number 24 has a typo on the word "and." Do we like all of these highlighted things? Do we want to pull it? Do people have them in front of them, or should we pull it up on the screen? Peter, did you read them? You're on mute.
I've been looking for him. I don't seem to have.
Clay, do you want to pull it up on your screen? On the screen? Or I can if you want.
And if you're on the Dropbox, I think what I did was I added the filings kind of retroactively. So the exhibit A's are actually in the main folder, the 28, January 28 packet folder.
You want to just pull it up? So these are the ones that we were talking about. Pheasant Landing was the one where the owners had moved in, or they hadn't actually lived there yet, and then they cleared the wetlands and a bunch of invasives, and they kind of moved some rocks and roots and things. And then they were going to plant inside the wetlands, but that's what we talked about. Maybe they shouldn't plant inside the wetlands, and so they were going to go back. What happened with that?
So they opted to keep the plan as it was, and what they did is they provided a revised order of conditions or NOI form, and they put 150 square feet of temporary impacts as a quantitative. They estimated the amount of disturbance they'd need to get the root balls for the select plantings in the wetland. So they listed those as temporary, since the plantings, once they're in, will stabilize those disturbances.
Okay, so that was that decision. That's easy. So now I was reading this and it was saying how they were planting right in it, and then I was confused about that was what was happening. So they're planting in the wetlands and they're providing erosion controls on the outside of the wetlands. The only thing that's happening in the wetlands are some going in with shovels, planting plants, and walking away.
And so for both 54 Pheasant Landing, and I'll review this when we get to 7066 Chestnut Street as well. Neither of the plan sets, I believe, show any kind of erosion controls, primarily because there's not any great areas of disturbance. They're not scouring to seed or anything like that. They're doing individual plantings. So that's one of the reasons why I highlighted erosion controls. That's one of our stock conditions, is providing everything. In this case, it seems like if we have it in there, we can require them to use erosion controls should their work end up in greater disturbance. I think omitting it kind of doesn't necessarily remove our ability, but doesn't give us as much ability to go in and argue. But I think off the bat, unless something goes awry, I'm not sure if they have a very extensive erosion control need.
Yeah, it was kind of flat area and there were just plantings.
So Clay, will they know that when I guess you're going to meet with them before they start work, and you'll probably have a discussion about, well, we're not going to use erosion control. Is that okay? And you'll say yes.
Exactly. They'll still have to do the pre-construction meeting. So even before they start installing these plantings, they'll have to get the DEP file number up. They'll have to show proof of recording at the registry. And at that time, we usually review their erosion controls. So we'll go through and we'll say, this is where we need to monitor. We may request that they have like straw wattle on hand if we get out there and it looks like it's going to be a extensive disturbance to get some of the tree plantings in. But I don't believe we usually require people for administrative approvals and the like to use erosion controls when installing trees. And usually we don't see root balls that are enormous. People aren't putting in a 10-foot transplant.
Yeah, they're not going in with equipment to plant these trees. They're just planting them by hand.
I believe so. And that's something that we'll also have a discussion during the pre-con with them.
We have any, because how big are any of these trees particularly large that they're planting?
Actually, I can pull up the planting plan right here.
Yeah, Allison, do you have an opinion on if they can plant these by hand? Let's see, what's the biggest thing?
It's gotta be
5
something you
foot
can get in a
6.
wheelbarrow.
I mean, the 7-gallon is the biggest, it's a witch hazel. And the trees, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think you can, I mean, I planted plants this big by hand. Yeah,
Okay.
I think they can.
So we can require them to plant them by hand?
I think you need a couple of people in a big wheelbarrow. You
No,
need,
yeah.
a couple of,
They don't need a backhoe and dig a hole. They
I
can
don't think
plant them
so.
by hand.
I
So
don't,
can
yeah,
we-
I don't think we need to have we can say they don't need a backhoe to go into the wetland.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, so does it say that in that order of conditions that there's no heavy equipment being used?
Yeah, do it by hand.
No mechanical.
I don't see it in here. I know one of our stock, one of our conditions that we often include in these is that no heavy
heavy
equipment
machinery.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'll make sure that that stock condition is in there as well, and again, emphasize that they should be bringing it in on wheelbarrows and by hand.
yep, yeah. So I think that part is important. So you highlighted a few other things. Anything that, like this number 20 seems reasonable, 25 seems reasonable.
Yeah, so I don't believe explicitly we had them include emblems on the plan, but I do believe that at the time of the enforcement for both projects, we had discussed having them mark out that 25-foot or at least the wetland boundary to prevent. I arbitrarily put 6 because that's often what we use. This may be a larger area that you may want 10. I can again bring the
6 is fine.
plan up, but you know, if you have them kind of marked throughout, I think that it sends the same message that it's a wetland area.
Are they putting them on the edge of the wetland or the 25 foot? Where are they putting these markers?
Normally we have them put it on the 25-foot. I would leave it to your discretion, I guess.
Is that what your thing says, the 25 foot?
Yeah, it says 25
Bring
foot.
that plan back up. Like the 25 foot would be easier to put 6 in than a ziggy-zaggy line, so.
Clay, you routinely approve the location of the markers too, right?
It is something that we review, and that's definitely something that we can go over with them at the site visit, the pre-con, to have that pre-approved with us.
I mean, they have this fence, so I don't know how far the fence is from the wetland line.
If you had 6 markers though, you know, I think you could be on either side of that fence and where the fence is. I mean, if this is within 25, this is an existing full fence that came with.
Yeah, I can imagine that they're not gonna put them on the inside of the fence, so. So when you're out there, make it, I mean, I just don't know if this is a 10-foot line or a 30-foot line. There's no dimensions on this plan.
And do we know what kind of markers they're gonna use? I mean, if they're gonna use something that's gonna be upright, that's visible, or they're not gonna use like flush granite?
No, they can't do that.
Yeah, they've gotta use something like the bird houses that we've used in the past, or, right?
Boulders, birdhouses, fencing.
Okay.
Oh, this has the 25-foot line on it?
Yeah, and if you'd like, I can rotate it to be in the same orientation as the other plan.
Oh, that's all right. But so they'll be able to fit it in without putting it inside the fence. They can get it on the outside of the fence.
Yeah.
Either side, yeah.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so that's fine. The 25, the markers are good. No construction equipment is good. What else is highlighted here that's different?
So the last thing is what we discussed at the previous meeting was that in order to apply for a certificate of compliance for this project, they'll need to submit a report from a certified wetland scientist, botanist, or other qualified professional stating that all the plants have been completed strictly in accordance with the order of conditions. If there's been any deviations, they need to let us know. Presumably they need to tell us before that. There's stock conditions that say that they should talk to us before deviating, but in this case, it doesn't make sense to have an engineer review this, and we also are not requiring an as-built plan unless they have deviated, in which case we may require them to submit those deviations on a plan.
And there's a 2-year monitoring program?
Yeah, so I just used the stock language for that as well. 2-year monitoring period with the 75% survival rate, 85% live wood.
Are there any concern that they're gonna have the deer eating all the plants like that other house had? I don't know how you figure that out or not, but the other one that was so close, they ate all of the trees. Remember that one near the Charles
Yeah.
River?
Well, I suppose that's why we have the first year monitoring, so that if that is a problem, then they can let us know or try different species.
Okay, anybody else have any comments or questions on this? All this yellow stuff is things that we want. And now this is, they requested a waiver for the waiver fee. And this was an enforcement order, which they paid a fine for along the way.
Right.
And that was one of the things I believe that we briefly discussed during the original hearings was whether a waiver was required since it's native plantings, since they're not doing any alterations other than planting of native species. And technically they're going all the way into the wetlands. So I put the language in there and highlighted it because if you decide that it does need a waiver, we'll need to make that motion tonight as well.
Yeah, I think it needs a waiver. And then we can decide if we want to waive the waiver fee. But if everybody's done looking at this, and you can take it down and we can see faces again. Somehow it's easier to see everybody. Okay, did anybody have any additional comments on the order of conditions and thinking that we do the waiver first or after?
First.
Okay, so we need a motion on waiving the 25-foot no disturbance. Waive, what is it? What did we say?
I move that we waive the requirement for the 25-foot no disturbance for 54 Pheasant Landing Road.
A second? Artie, was that you seconding?
Yes.
Thanks. Okay, all in favor, Bill?
Aye.
Allison?
Aye.
Peter?
Abstain.
You're abstaining?
Yeah, I wasn't at the original hearing.
Okay. Make sure you write that down. Sue?
Aye.
Janet? Steve, did I get you again? I think.
Aye.
Janet, aye. Okay, so we waived we waived the working in the 25-foot. Now, what do we think about the waiver fee? That knowing this was a enforcement order where they paid a fine already. And now they're rectifying that fine. What do we feel? How do we think?
I'm okay with waiving the fee.
They've already paid a fine through the enforcement order.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're okay waiving the fee?
Yep, I am.
Anybody else have an opinion? Because then we need a motion to waive the waiver fee.
I move that we waive the waiver fee for work within the 25-foot no disturb zone for 54 Pheasant Landing Road.
Not to be a stickler, but they're also doing work in the wetlands, not just the 25-foot.
Do we have to say that?
Kinda.
Yeah.
I did.
And work in the wetlands.
And work in the wetlands.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Artie. All in favor? Sue?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Allison?
Aye.
Peter?
Abstain.
Oh, yeah. Artie?
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
Janet? Aye. Okay. Now we can vote on the order of conditions as amended with no equipment added. Okay, can I have a motion to issue the order of conditions as amended for 54 Pheasant Landing Road, DP file number 2348856?
So moved.
I
We have-
second.
Okay, great. Thank you. All in favor? Allison,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Artie,
Aye.
Peter, you're abstaining. Stephen. Did I
Aye.
say Stephen? Janet, aye. Okay, we got through that one. Okay, now we're up to 766 Chestnut Street, DEP file number 234858. This is also a continued approval of order of conditions, special conditions as discussed at our last hearing, which were highlighted on the exhibit that was sent around by Clay. So I didn't find any spelling errors on this one. That doesn't mean they weren't there.
There was in fact the same exact spelling error.
I looked for it again.
I'll have to check to make sure that the stock conditions that I'm pulling from, that it's.
It was like the same condition wasn't there. There was something different. Was it there? The same?
Yeah, just a different page.
Oh, that's why I looked at it quick and I like didn't see it. Okay. You want to pull that up? This is the one with all of the trees that he cut down all the trees and most of them were in the isolated vegetated buffer, but then it wasn't a buffer, so he made a big lawn and he paid a fee also, right?
It's very
Joyce was
pretty,
here
but-
to talk about the trees and the
Very pretty.
number and
Yeah, but it's very pretty, Janet.
okay. And this requires a waiver to do the plantings and he's planting more trees and there's an erosion control request and anything else on the other pages that is highlighted in yellow?
So this one mimics a lot of the same in the last one. There were no erosion controls on the plan, but again, we wanted to make sure that we had something that we could enforce if erosion controls were needed during construction phase.
Mhm.
For this one, we also added the markers. There should probably be more than 6. Again, I highlighted. I wasn't
This
sure.
is a bigger one, yeah.
You could
Pull
almost.
up a plan
Yep.
because is the buffer, because like the isolated wetlands also have a buffer, but is that not what we're?
You could almost argue 6 on each side, 6 markers per wetland area, or 12.
But the isolated wetland, do we require? I don't know, do we? Do we? I'm
Yeah.
with you on putting 6 on either side, but if it's an isolated wetland, do we do that?
Yeah, why
Because we
not?
don't use- We can.
Yeah, I mean, the bylaw, we treat it just like it's a, we treat
It's a wetland.
IWs, yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's fine with me. Anybody care? 6 on either side?
Sounds good to me.
And then they need to, this one, I don't think that they can do them. They're planting bigger trees. I think they're gonna end up going in there with the equipment, but it's over his beautiful lawn, so as long as they don't go in the wetlands.
One of the other additions for this one is that they will need an as-built plan showing the final locations due to just how robust this is and because they are trees going in rather than individual shrubs and seeding. That was one of the things that was discussed during the deliberations on this one.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Anybody else? You can pull that down if you want now. Thank you. Okay, anybody have any opinions, comments, concerns? Can I have, so first we have to say, we need a motion to waive the work within the 25-foot no disturb zone. They are not in the wetlands on this one, though. They're just in the buffer.
So moved.
Thank you, Bill. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Can we just say aye? Do we have to do a roll call? I see.
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, even Sue, oh no, that's my hand on your. Aye, okay.
Would be
Now can we have, what do we think about the fee? Did he also pay a fine for his work within? Did he pay a fine for the enforcement order for, because cutting down all those trees?
Yeah, I believe so.
I believe at the time of the enforcement, there was a motion to issue fines per tree.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, it's true.
Okay, we're confident about that?
Yes.
Might have even been the one that prompted us to relook at how the bylaw is applied.
Because we had originally held off on fining until Joyce went out and determined if that was the isolated wetland. So then the next meeting, we determined the fine based on that being an isolated wetland.
So how do we feel about waiving the fine?
I don't see a need to waive it per se, waive the fine. No, I don't think so.
Okay, so we don't need anything. We're just accepting the fine.
Mhm.
We don't need to motion not to. Okay. All right, good. We move on from that. So are we happy with the order of conditions? And can I have a motion to issue the order of conditions for 766 Chestnut Street, DP file number 2348858?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Second. Steve, thank you very much. Okay, all in favor, Sue,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Artie,
Big yes on this one.
Stephen,
Aye.
Janet, aye. Great, thank you very much. And Artie, you have 30 minutes to get to Trader Joe's.
Are you telling me we're done? No,
I think, are we done?
no, we're not done. We're not done until we're actually done.
No, but we're almost done. Are we almost done? We went through the agenda. What else is there?
Well, I had one thing. Sorry.
Sorry, Artie. I really
So-
tried. I talked as fast as I could.
Just really quick. So we've been looking at the variety of monitoring reports that we've been getting, most of which are very poor. So I just wanted to clarify who we're requiring to do these monitoring reports. And we should have some kind of standard about what information we want on them. So just the generic like Maltby kind of, yeah, I went and everything's looking great. You know, I think that we should have listed each planting that goes in and talk about the health of each plant.
How often do they do these monitoring reports?
Who?
They do two? One
Yeah,
per year?
monitoring reports.
Yeah,
So
they can
I
do
do
a little bit.
monitoring reports all the time and I go each plant and say how each plant is doing with photos and everything. It's not just
Yeah.
a paragraph of, yeah, you know, kind of thing.
Yep.
Is there a model report that they follow?
It doesn't,
You could give a list, or we could give them an example of one if you want, whatever.
yeah,
however
or
you
we
wanna-
could just come up with the criteria, what we want on it. That we can put on our website or whatever, because we're just really getting some very generic, you know, and who do we want to do them? It's like.
I mean,
So,
I really kind of feel like it can become, for the wetland plants. Are we talking about wetland mitigation plants, or are we talking about when they plant trees in the buffer zone? Or both?
Any planting.
pretty much.
I mean, I just,
I mean, you guys, you can think about it. We don't need an answer right now.
Is it
but-
specified?
Yeah,
Yes, Allison.
Allison has an opinion.
I would say that the person who looks at it has to, you know, have some kind of training, like being an arborist or a culturalist. I would not suggest a landscape architect because a lot of landscape architects do not know that much about plants. It's really kind of horrifying. So that they can identify it, that they know, they know if it's healthy in leaf or not in leaf, if it's set buds, you know, if it's got green wick, you know, all these kinds of, you know, with the root, they look at the roots, they look at the canopy, they look at the leaves over there. You know, it's somebody that you know, that has training in plant science and woody.
So
plant.
Allison,
We're not looking at seed, and we're not looking at if you know if in the seed the plants that were in the seed mix have all come up. That's a more complicated turf management kind of person. You know, I mean, I think that it's reasonable to talk about woody plants and just does it look like it's covered, you know, but because I know myself that it's taken me a long time to identify. There's so many herbaceous plants in wildflower seed mix, and more than I've never had a wildflower mix where all the plants came up, or other plants didn't come up. They were actually wildflowers. They weren't necessarily weeds. So, you know, the mixes, they say they're pure. Are they pure? Sometimes I see these crazy, you know, Texas wildflowers in wildflower mixes that are supposed to be pure New England wildflower mixes. So I'm just saying that's much more difficult to get somebody to do that. But the woody stuff, I think that you can ask for some criteria for who's looking at it. And I mean, anybody can see if a plant is completely dead as a doornail, but how much dead is it? And I think we have criteria like in landscape architecture, we say 75% has to be live, rejected, you know, from what, and so you need to know what it looked like when it was first planted. You know, I mean, you could have pruned things off and made it look a little better. Do you know what I mean? But in any event, I mean, I think that's, I would ask for somebody who has some training. And
I just want to revamp that condition in our order, you know, just to really specify who.
Or it's useless, or it's completely, and somebody who reads it should be able to see, demonstrate in photographs and text what they looked at, not just take their word for it.
Exactly.
Oh, it's great. No, that's not. Then they have to go back out and get somebody else who can really do it, really does it properly. Yeah.
Okay.
Or reject it, right?
Yeah. Want to come up with the wording, Deb, and have us look at it.
Okay.
We're happy to edit.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Anything else?
Nope, you're free.
Anybody else have anything? I have a motion to adjourn, and we're going to start meeting at 7 o'clock next time.
Oh, that's right. Oh, shit. That's right.
See how that goes for a while. I know you'll have more opportunity.
I'll make a
Okay.
motion to
Move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Miss everyone. Aye.
Bye again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Aye, thanks.
Bye, John Boy.
Good night, Sue Ellen.